Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Sovereign Vibe podcast, where we talk about all things spiritual, the human experience, and everything in between. I'm your host, Renee Louise, and we will be sharing personal stories on the healing journey, how to overcome trauma of all kinds, and then thusly how to feel more confident as a starseed and empath, aka the sensitive, beautiful soul that you are. Let's begin today's episode. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back or to the podcast. My name is Renee Louise, and it's been a minute. And I feel like I always keep saying that when I'm doing these podcast episodes, but life has been crazy, and I hope you all have been doing well. I wanted to just come back and do a little life update, a little reflections, share some wisdom that I have moved through or still moving through, and kind of catch you all up because it's been, I think, since November, and it's June when I'm recording this. So yeah, a lot has happened. The last time we spoke or we were here together, we were talking about shadow work and all of the transitions that have been coming through with that shadow work and Reiki and everything in that realm. So something that part of the reason why I have taken a break is because beginning, I think mid-November, I was deep in a creative project that I got commissioned for, you could say. And it's funny because within a couple weeks of already kind of stating to the universe that I wanted to start working with other people and collaborating and traveling for work, a lot happened very quickly. So I got commissioned to collaborate and score a film for a client's film, a short film, and I didn't expect to be approached for that at all. I was very honored and overwhelmed because I've never done that before, or now I have, but it was quite a journey. And it's funny how we think when we're doing something new or something we're really passionate about, we can sometimes go, or I definitely went into the realm of, okay, I'm gonna make it be exactly what they want, and I had a lot of weird standards about it because music is still something I'm very much learning how to create and compose, and yeah, it's one of my biggest passions. So it has a lot of little insecurities around it. So I spent maybe like 8 hours for a first kind of draft for this film and sent it to my client, and she basically said she loved it but didn't feel like me, and she wanted it to feel like the other music I've done in the past, and that's why she even came to me for this project. So it was an interesting experience to be like, oh, you want me to be weird and me and create with like light language and all of this stuff. And so it took a while for me to shed the layers of trying to be a musician and just be myself. And I spent like another 8 hours kind of redoing it all. I forgot how many hours I put into the project, but anyway, it was a magical, beautiful, collaborative piece. And this client actually had a installation that she built to showcase the film. So I actually went there to Boston and saw it in person, and it was just beautiful to see her work being displayed and appreciated and loved, and to be in that type of artist community because it was this big gallery type thing. So yeah, that was amazing. Also went to Canada and trained a beautiful client in Reiki, and then I did my first assisting job in Joshua Tree for a Reiki retreat, and that was pretty intense in the best ways. I learned a lot of what I want to bring to my retreats if I ever have a retreat like that. And it's such an eye-opening experience being assistant for any vocation, I think, to even when I was in hair, I loved being an assistant because I loved to tune into people's energy and really see the details of what was going on, so then I could be ready like 10 steps ahead of them, if possible, even a couple, you know? So that's kind of where I flow really best, because I can tune into the energy, but it was also a lot because there was a lot of grid work going on. And when I say grid work, you could have a different term for it, but that's the word I use. And it has, I think I've spoken about it here on the podcast, but for me, grid work is when I tune into the earth and see the layers of consciousness that have had the experiences, or I don't know how to put it fully into words, but I have been deeply aware of the history of the land, and I get shown the different past lives, you could say, of especially the natives living in the United States, and I think anywhere in the world. There's a lot of natives that have been pushed out, they have been hurt, they have been completely annihilated, and it's slowly been a progression that has come into my work and awareness, but it came up very strongly out in Joshua Tree in the desert where I was assisting, which was a 3-year period. Even to in 2020 I went out there for a solo trip. That's even when Sovereign Vibrations was kind of conceptualized, when I was shifting my business from Arcturus 8 to Sovereign Vibrations. And then I went to my very first retreat in 2023, and that was a massive, like, connecting with the natives, and that's another story for another time. And then this journey, which was early March of this year, was a massive piece too, connecting with the natives there. And like I spoke of in my Sudden Transformation podcast episode, there was a lot of grief that happened almost 2 years ago now for me. And so it's interesting, I'm right at the 2-year anniversary, and I'm very much feeling a new layer of grief coming up. And that is very much so of what happens in grid work. Seeing the souls that may even be stuck from trauma, from not knowing how to move their soul to the next plane. However you want to resonate with that too. I don't use the correct terms probably all the time for that, but there was a lot of grief that I dealt with, but also was able to connect with souls on, about how to move that grief, how to acknowledge it, how to alchemize it in general. And when I went up to Canada as well, there was another form of that grid work happening with the women that I was working with as well, and training in Reiki. And for that time, I was very much holding the space, because I usually have done most of this deep healing grid work on my own and have just figured it out along the way, but it's quite overwhelming. And I'm sure if you have any connection to the earth, you've probably done it even unknowingly, just felt sadness in a certain area of the land, or like sent love to it and felt it move, right? It can be as simple as that. But when I was in Canada, it was almost as if I was there to help awaken these other women to doing this work on that deep level too. And it was such a transformational, powerful thing. And I don't fully even have the words beyond that to express it. It was definitely very dense and heavy, and it's a lot to be so aware of the trauma of the land or the natives, right? The indigenous hold so much wisdom. They were so connected, and they still are, right? So learning so much from that, and it's very humbling because I still feel somewhat unworthy sometimes to hear these stories or feel these energies. And I come from, obviously, colonization, and it is such a dualistic thing, but I think we're all meant to heal it in our own way, right? However that pertains to you. So Yeah, it's been quite a journey. I also then I was supposed to go to another retreat with William Lee Rand for a Reiki training, which I did my next level of Reiki. After the Reiki Masters and Holy Fire, it's the Karuna training. So I did that and then was supposed to go to a retreat in Hawaii. And then I was actually really nervous about it. I was losing sleep and having some panic attacks because there was a very intense drive that I would have to do to get to the location. And there was a huge storm that was happening, and I think my body kind of knew I needed to not go. So thankfully it actually got canceled. And I dealt kind of with the grief of that because I was really looking forward to what that had in store for me through my training in Reiki, through my connective community in Reiki. But yeah, it was all divine timing because I basically was traveling from end of February all the way up until this mid-May. So my body was having trouble, to be honest, like regulating in between the trips because I went from the desert was supposed to go to Hawaii, that got canceled, went to Canada for 10 days, then went back to Hawaii for a different training trip for training and working with a client and a friend of mine. And yeah, I think when I wanted and said to the universe that I'm ready to travel and like have all of this work business stuff really be more broadcasted outward, I'm really grateful it really happened, and it happened so quickly. But I definitely am so happy to be anchored in a routine right now and grounded into it. And my body even, I think, was finally releasing a lot that I was holding before because I got sick when I got back. So it was almost my body being like, finally, she's done. But even through that time period, and what I really wanted to talk about, and if you're new to this channel, new to me, you probably have no idea, but I'm a very introverted person. Very, very introverted. And that's also why my consistency with this podcast, with my YouTube, with just in general showing up has been one of my biggest struggles, because being so introverted, it's hard for me to handle being on camera or just even recording myself in any capacity, because I'm either feeling and processing or wanting to just create behind the scenes. And since I've been done with traveling now, it has been like this lightning speed of information from my team of what to create, how to move, how to restructure even the way I was operating in general. I found out very quickly that I was numbing myself with caffeine, which I know sounds really extreme. I'm also sorry if you can hear people in the background. My landlady's out in her garden right now. But yeah, I think I developed a caffeine addiction pretty early on, and this is a whole nother story, but it came into my awareness that my nervous system was not regulating like at all, and I was just using caffeine as a way to help my people pleasing or to be productive, to numb out what I really needed, because I was like, I'm on a roll, I'm doing the things. And this has been an ongoing thing for a long time, especially when I was working in the hair salons, because you're so busy, sometimes you don't even have time to eat. Like, you have to be fueled, you have to talk to your clients, you have to make the hair perfect, like there's so many things. So caffeine has been like probably my last vice, if you will, and I've been healing that place of not needing a crutch in order for me to feel like me or to be there for people when I need to be there for myself. So that's been a journey I've been really unpacking, and I've worked recently from like January to the end of May, mid-May. I worked with like a homeopathic guide to help with my nervous system, to help with supplements, to help really anchor my body back in, because it was hard for me to even see that I needed that. And that's the beauty of getting support. We get to have people be like, oh, you got some stuff we got to work on, honey, can't see our blind spots. So, but at the same time, through all of that, I was really guided back to seeing that I've still been giving my power away to mentors or guides, or putting people on pedestals that either seem more successful or have the things I desire or whatever, right? Thinking that I need someone to hold my hand. And it's not wrong to have a mentor at all, and I don't regret my mentorships that I've been in before, because I've been in a couple. But again, when I got back from all this traveling, it was like my team and higher self, if you will, were saying like we have to start fresh. And I also have the tendency, I don't know if it's my Piscean energy, to go from one extreme to the other. So if I haven't been posting, then I like get this huge idea of all the stuff I'm going to create, all the stuff I'm going to post, and I'm going to be this regimented and la 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 la. So I've been learning how to not swing to such an extreme, and to find the middle where I can stay really consistent, even just for myself. Because I've noticed that when I get burnt out, or when I'm not creating in a consistent manner, no matter if I'm sharing it out in the world or just creating for myself, if I'm not creating consistently, I get quite depressed. I get quite in my head. I get very lost in the world. And I think it's something we all can relate to, and we're not doing things that we're passionate about. It can be hard to feel the spark of our life, or our passions of purpose and creativity and all of that, right? So I've been really trying to take this time, because I also stepped back from doing one-on-one sessions right after I did the Reiki assisting retreat. I really recognized like, okay, I need to restructure how I'm showing up, and to make sure that I'm not, like, my personal stuff isn't bleeding into my work or into my sessions with my clients. Because I also wanted to be in this place to help women especially heal and feel empowered. But I started to recognize too that there was a lot of codependency still happening, in terms of not letting fully go and just trusting everyone has their own timing to heal and process. But noticing even in my clients that there was a lot still that they were looking to me for all the answers, instead of trusting they had the answers, and I was just holding that sacred space for them too. And I think that's still a balance of, we can always have someone help us, guide us, and see us, but I've recognized that even the word like a mentor has been holding a lot of distortion. So I've been really sitting with that, and I know for sure that I just want to be the best guide for myself and for others, and to let go of the outcome of what that needs to look like in general. And that's probably one of the hardest pieces that I'm probably relearning, if you will. So yeah, there's a lot that has been restructuring in itself. I've had to really create some not harsh, I don't know why I said harsh, but maybe in my brain it feels harsh, but just these routines, that morning routines that help build me up, and like a gratitude daily practice, working out more consistently, moving my body with love instead of punishment, taking supplements that help balance my nervous system and replenish me and mineralize my body. And yeah, so it was quite a rambly little one. I'm just looking down at my notes to see if I missed anything else. Oh, I also moved. I moved to a new place, which I was in a apartment that I moved to really quickly, right when all of the death and shifting was happening, almost 2 years ago now, to be closer with my fiance. And within like 6 months, the place started to not feel in alignment. So very early on, but I just kind of ignored it, and I couldn't find another place to move to. And I started to recognize that I was getting so used to suffering and it was like showing me all the ways that I was still suffering or making things harder for myself. And it got to the point, it was this past December, where sorry for the plane going overhead too, if you can hear that. I basically had hit a point where I stared up at the ceiling and kind of screamed to the universe, like, show me where to move, because I can't handle it anymore. Like, I didn't feel safe there. I won't go into details, but it just was not a healthy environment in many different ways for me. And within less than an hour, my fiance found a place for me to move, and I moved in like a week or two, right at the new year. So it was a very kind of challenging move, because untangling from an unhealthy environment can also be challenging. So I've been settling in that way too. Partly why my nervous system was not regulating was because of the environment. So invitation to scan your environment and see what needs to maybe change to help you feel more grounded and anchored and safe and supported, right? And feeling cozy and safe to be you. If we're not safe in our environment, even on a psychological level, it's going to be hard for us to make big changes or go after what we want, because our body's going to be like, no, then we're not ready. There's already too much happening, right? So that's kind of what happened for me, and I wanted to share that because I think we all sometimes need to just take a step back and take inventory and make sure that we're doing okay, that everything is supporting us, and kind of doing a checks and balance of, is this pattern supporting me, or is it holding me back? Is it a comfort that I'm feeling like I can't let go of it because I'm so afraid and I'm so used to it? But if I let go of it, am I actually going to feel freer? Right? So just some things to mull over for you if it resonates. Yeah, so the thing that I've been really working on behind the scenes ever since I got back from all my traveling, in terms of making sure that I stay consistent with creating in general, is I've actually been guided to create a Patreon and have 3 different tiers. One focused mainly on self-love and Reiki, so that's the rose quartz tier, and then focusing on the development of our awareness, our psyche, our psychic abilities, and really tuning into our gifts, and that's the tiger's eye. And there's so much to each one of these. And then the last one is the amethyst tier, and that's like the ultimate spirituality. And if you're not familiar with Patreon, once you like move up the ladder of the tiers, you also get all of the tiers. Or I don't know a better word to use. I'm still very new to Patreon, but it's a very affordable way to connect with the modalities and offerings that I have. It's Reiki healings, tarot readings, channelings. I'm creating a mini course of how to awaken your inner channeler, especially with light language. If you've been guided to wanting to do light language, that will be available there. And I'm gonna build a bigger course within that too, so it's not just light language, but awakening your inner channeler, because I think we all, and I know we all can channel, it's just if you want to or not, or who you're meant to channel. So yeah, I'm quite excited. Also, there's going to be light language activations and artwork that you can have the free download of when you join the Tiger's Eye tier. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of share that. It's launching in August officially, and it's gonna be a fun, sacred place to connect with like-minded individuals about our healing and about the deep things that are coming up. I'll do energy updates, and there'll be a lot of other little goodies involved too. So if that feels exciting for you or interesting at all, you can check out the link below. I will also just have a free tier where I'm putting in like a meditation with me, lives or sound baths or downloads for different things. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that level of consistency within myself, just even for me. because it's, again, building upon feeling safe and sharing and creating. And I hope it's inspiring for you to even create and share and stay consistent with your own practices, even if it's not a spiritual practice, but it's self-care and replenishing, right? So yeah, I think that was about it that we were going to cover today for the update. I think that's it. I wanted to pull a card for us today. These podcast episodes will come out almost every other month now, unless I feel guided to do a couple more in there. I'm trying to keep, again, the consistency on a middle level instead of a very high content based. Before, when I was trying to go full out, I was creating 3 massive long form contents a week, and it was burning me out pretty quickly. So I'm finding a new balance with this all, and I hope that the content coming out or just these chats are supportive. I still have a lot of people I want to bring on this podcast to share about their stories, to give their modalities some highlighting in terms of talking about so many other ways that we can work on healing ourselves or just supporting where we've been, what we've been through, and how to flourish even more. So there's so many options that we can lean on for support, and yeah, so excited. I'm also working on a few things in the background as well in terms of an inner child course that I've been in the midst of working on for quite some time now. I can't remember when I started it, actually. And then I'm writing a book currently too. So there's more to come around all of that. But yeah, let's see what card we're meant to connect with for today. Ooh. Oh, shadow integration. Okay. I embrace all aspects of myself. I find sovereign alignment when the shadow of my experience has freedom to express and merge with the light of my soul. Oh, shadow, shadow, shadow. What else do we need to know? I feel like there's something else popping through. Maybe it's a very specific message for one of you. Oh, so this is something that I've been struggling with, and again, I wanted to share because it's been coming, the universe is echoing back support, and I feel like that could be a sign to also share it if you're feeling this way too and struggling in these ways. I have been, and maybe this is where what hinges on my lack of consistency, is feeling that I need to have X, Y, and Z established in order to do this project, for example, or whatever, right? So even before I sat down and took notes about this episode I wanted to make and just kind of a life update, I got in my head thinking, oh my gosh, why are you being so full of yourself, talking about your life, and you should be helping people share or learn something else. Like, this is what you just keep doing in this podcast. Like, this internal dialogue was so loud to the point I had to go back and rewatch my last 2 episodes because it was so, like, topsy-turvy. It was very much distorted. And I, again, think that we get so hard on ourselves that we build this internal illusion of why we can't do things or why we shouldn't do it, and if we're not ready or we're not good enough or everyone else is already doing that, so why should I even do that, right? But no. Talk about the shadow, integrating our shadow, right? I mean, I love it when I see people in the realm of this content or whatever talking about their life update, even if I've never met this person before, right? It's so nice to see where other people are in their life, and I hope that me sharing that is doing that for you, and if it's not, it's okay too. You know, so if, again, this is, we get to just show up and get ready and do it anyway. The more that we step into the things we want to do, the more it shifts our energy the way we're expecting or wanting it to do. Sometimes we wait for that feeling to come before we even take the action, but if we take the action, we get that feeling that we want, right? So I'm saying this even so much to myself, so it's just staying disciplined with love and intention for the things that we want to keep building, and to do it anyway, even if we don't feel ready, to do it even when it's not perfect, to trust this vision that we have and just go for it, no matter how it's evolving, no matter how it's unfolding. So if you've been on the fence about doing something, I got you. We got this. Go for it. One baby step, whatever that looks like. Maybe again, that's just writing it down. We got the forgiveness card coming out. So maybe it's about even forgiving yourself for not starting sooner. Maybe it's even the internal dialogue that's been so loud, like I explained about my inner dialogue. Like, I forgive myself for being such a bitch to myself, right? Like, fuck. The affirmation for forgiveness is, I release with love, trusting the knowing that all has divine purpose. My heart is free and open. And I love that both of these cards, can you see? This one has the, if you're not seeing it on YouTube, you could come onto YouTube and see the cards, but the shadow integration has the rainbow energy coming out through the darkness. And the forgiveness card, it's a little hard to see. There's rainbow energy around the flower of life. So I'm hearing in this way, when we integrate even the forgiveness around our shadow aspects, and our shadow aspects are insecurities, are limited beliefs, are pain points that can easily be triggered, right? Even jealousy or anger, whatever you have in terms of what resonates as I'm saying this. But the more that we allow forgiveness to integrate into ourselves, the more freedom we'll feel, the more joy we'll feel, the more alignment and wisdom we'll interconnect with, and I'm hearing even integrate for where we want to go. And we don't have to know how that's going to unfold. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the throat chakra. So speaking your voice, telling, maybe even stating out, like how I did to the universe, like, show me what to do. Like, maybe that's what you need to do right now. Asking for guidance, asking and trusting that you will get the signs coming back to you, right? Because even, for example, when I got the information about where to move next, I wasn't fully open for it, to be honest. I was like, that's still not it. I was like all in my feels, throwing a little tantrum, and then it ended up being way better than I thought. Like, my backyard is now this giant, beautiful garden that I don't even have to take care of, but I can just go and sit in it. And there's even little kittens out there right now. So it's more magical than I ever thought possible, even though I still worry about the kittens being out there because they're not mine. So I can't bring them in, you know, but anyway, that's another story. So I'm hearing, where do you maybe need to speak up more? The throat chakra, clearing your throat, clearing what your self-talk has been, maybe even sharing your voice with someone and being very direct about what boundaries you need, right? There can be so many different ways that we can express ourselves, or ways we need to express ourselves, and maybe that's even forgiving someone else and telling them we're sorry. Maybe our shadow really like got triggered and we kind of blew up on someone, you know, and that's okay. We are human. We're human. The affirmation for the throat chakra is, I express myself freely. My truth flows easily and effortlessly. I am heard. And sometimes that's all we need, is to feel heard and seen and supported. And I hope that me sharing my things or what is on my heart helps you feel seen and less alone, because we're constantly learning how to be human in this life. You know, like, there is no blueprint, and even if we follow a blueprint, it may not even be the right fit for us, right? So take time today, if you feel guided, to really sit and reflect how things are flowing in your life. Are you needing to make some changes so that you feel more grounded, feel more supported, feel more creative, right? Whatever is on your heart, just allow yourself to be open to that wisdom, to that guidance. And I think you might be surprised what comes forward, what things can easily shift, or like little tweaks here and there, right? So yeah, I hope this was a supportive podcast for you, and thank you for being here with me through the ups and downs, through your patience with the consistency I've been working to build on, and yeah, these creative things, these supportive things that are on my heart, because a lot of the times too I question if I'm even, is it really, am I doing this is just silly shit I'm doing, we can get so in our head, but we can just keep moving forward with what's on our heart and shining. And I love the analogy of just being a lighthouse, not going out and trying to share our light, but just holding space and shining out and being this beacon. And that is something I really want to intend to embody, and not worry about what's happening beyond that, because that's all out of our control anyway. So yeah, your permission slip, if you needed one, to just go for it. The job, the love, the changes, just being more of yourself, or discovering who that is. You got this. Thank you all for being here. I'm so, so grateful. So honored. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below. If there's something within the questions around Patreon or any of my services, I'm back to doing one-on-one readings now. If you'd like to get a Reiki healing or a channeling with me, or an oracle reading as well, my oracle deck is also still available. Yeah, I will see you soon. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Sovereign Vibe podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. This podcast is sponsored by the Sovereign Vibrations Oracle deck, a 63-card deck paired with sound healing music and guidebook where you can access over 8 hours of meditation music and get an exclusive free 30-minute reading upon purchase. If you feel guided to connect and have more guidance along your journey, please go to www.sovereignvibrations.com to book a free consultation call or any healing or channeling services available. Follow us on Instagram at Sovereign Vibe and YouTube at Sovereign Vibrations Renee Louise. Hope you have a beautiful day wherever you may be in the world, and stay tuned for next week's episode right here on the Sovereign Vibe podcast. Stay sovereign, you beautiful soul. Love you.